Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
season 3
3
of Pero Let Me Tell You.
You sound far away, but is anybody really far away these days? Does it really matter?
We're all just one big Carole King song.
So far away.
You know what?
Doesn't everybody stay? That one that you're talking about?
Yes.
Stay in the same place anymore. Oh, yeah, they do.
This pandemic will probably put that back on the charts too.
Probably.
Tapestry.
So are we recording now?
We are recording now.
Then everybody, welcome to another quarantined episode of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Welcome.
Episode 104.
104 of La Cuarentena. Oh, mira, 104, Cuarentena. Okay.
Is that how really you say it in Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like cuarentena, which is, the time between Lent and Easter.
Oh, is that what that's called? In
You're
Spanish?
kidding me.
In Spanish. I didn't know what it was called in Spanish.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, la cuarentena is the time between, it's Lent, it's 40 days.
I know, but I've never heard it in Spanish.
Yeah, it's the time between Fat Tuesday, or Ash Wednesday, when it starts,
And Easter.
to Easter.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, didn't you take your
I
communion
did
like every
not-
other good Catholic boy?
I did not do it in Spanish.
Oh, I did.
No, I did mine in English.
You know what's so funny? Well, everybody, welcome to episode
Yeah,
104.
welcome to 104.
How is everybody? Well, we know you're not driving to work.
Nope. I think everybody's doing okay, all things considered, and everybody's comfortable, if nothing else, I'm sure, unless you're an essential worker, in which case, thank you guys for everything you do. I know it's not just doctors and nurses, but, it's pharmacists, it's grocers, it's, the guy at Target, everybody who's just kind of keeping things kind of business as usual. We thank you.
I don't think people are comfortable. Speak for yourself.
You don't think people are comfortable at home?
No.
Really?
I don't think people are comfortable at home at all. That's why people have been complaining that they're home.
Well,
I
what
don't
I mean
think people are...
what I mean by comfortable is at least, you don't have to get like dressed, you can just roll out. and be in
No,
your
but I mean,
pajamas.
but people are not comfortable because if you have kids, especially, then you have to balance between your kids' schoolwork and your work because most people are working from home.
Oh,
You're already frustrated because you can't get out of the house. You can't take the kids out. Like I today did a drive-by of my parents' house, and my mom started to cry because my mom hadn't seen me in I don't know how many days.
well, that might also be because you did a drive-by, which usually involves bullets. So
No, I actually got off the car. I got off the car, and I was there for an hour and a half. I saw my grandmother in the door. I saw my parents in the door. They all sat by the door, and
Right.
and I was by my car, and I was there for an hour and a half. And my mom started to cry because she's like, I can't even hug you. I think most people are really frustrated. And then the thing is that this is not ending anytime soon. This is going for at least a month. Not everybody could be relaxed and shirtless like you.
I've had that. But I will say, this past Tuesday, I had one. I pretty much had it. You know what I mean? Because I think on Tuesdays when they announced that it was going to be longer, till the end of the month and whatever, and so it was officially extended at my job. We're not going back until at least the 1st of May. Blah blah blah. And I think it was just at that moment I was just you know what? I felt the episode of Full House. Guess what? Politeness Week is over.
It's over.
Because it was just I'm sitting here. I've become basically la chismosa de barrio because I'm sitting at my kitchen table next to the window. I see everything that's going on. And it's just this umpteen now because now everything has to be a meeting, right? Because before I would just walk over to somebody and now it's a video conference and a meeting and and it's just I'm just over it. I just don't care. And it's not because, I don't want to be home and blah, blah. It's just I don't want, no, I want to just be in an office for a day, which is something I never thought I'd hear myself say. But I mean, I also recognize though that I don't have all that added pressure of, having a child at home or more than one child. So, my complaints are a little less.
No, but also like, for me, which is the case with a lot of people, I'm very close to like my parents and my family and my grandmother, and I always go over and stuff like that, and I can't do that now. It's just home. It's just home.
I haven't seen my parents in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's hard. I mean, it's really hard. And I mean, look, I think we're doing well, all things considered. There's people who are going through worse times, but I mean, it does have a toll on you. So I mean, I honestly, I've always been concerned about this, and if you hear our different recordings, you could tell that I haven't like panicked over the whole coronavirus thing. I mean, I've listened to the doctors and to what we have to do, and I've pretty much, on the most part, obeyed the recommendations. But I have to tell you that this week, not that I became like scared or anything, but this week I did become a lot more concerned because they're showing all these people, especially here in South Florida, that have died, who are young.
Yeah, the first death was what it was like. He was 40. I mean,
yeah, these are young people that were
relatively healthy-looking person
that were otherwise healthy, because they kept marketing this, saying like, oh, the people that are elderly are the ones that are in
more
greatest danger, which that may very well be true.
I'm sure, right.
But there's so many people now that have died or are doing very badly, and they're relatively young. So I was like, okay, this is not. We're not playing around here. Like this is serious.
No, it is serious, and I mean, I don't think we've ever taken it as a joke, but at the same time, it's like you just kind of try to do whatever you can to stay sane. Like my sister basically has the boys on like a very rigid schedule, where she's like, from this time to this time, you do this, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna ride bikes around the block, and then we're gonna like it's just like we got to burn off that energy, and we've got to keep them on a certain some degree of a schedule, because if not,
but the thing with the schedule is that yes, you got to keep them on a schedule, because I know that when I've had Tristan and we've had, I've had to like do the school thing with him. He has schoolwork, but the thing is that the schoolwork, even the schoolwork, is not proportionate to a full day of school.
No,
so
at all.
A lot of times he's done by noon. So it's like he's done all his schoolwork. So it's like, now what?
Do they make him do PE? Because the boys have like virtual PE classes.
They do, and
which I
like the karate place he was going to, they have like a virtual thing, but it's not the same. And then they don't have interactions with other kids.
That's the thing.
They don't have interactions. I mean, the other day, I think I said this last episode. There was a moment that like Tristan was spinning in the background, in the backyard, just spinning, like. I'm like, all right,
sure, why not?
So like this week I actually started one of his friends from school. Like they've been Skyping,
that's good,
or WhatsApping,
FaceTiming,
or
getting some or Zooming or whatever the kids are using this week.
So yeah, so we've tried here. Yeah. We've tried here on the podcast too, and we'll continue doing it as long as people keep submitting pictures and stories
please
of
do.
First responders and nurses. We will continue doing it. There's a lot of people who have. We will get to everybody. It's just that we're not going to post everybody at once.
Yeah. One a day.
But we wanted to just give a little shout out to people who are first responders. So I want to talk about that because we kind of do have a platform, and I want to use my platform
we do have a platform
for that. So, something you've heard a lot on the news is about nurses and the whole thing with not having enough masks and supplies. PPEs are calling it, personal protective equipment.
Okay,
right?
Thank you.
And so we hear the term all over, all the time, PPEs. And I know several people who work for a very large health system here in Miami, and I'll leave it at that. And I know several people who work there, and these are people that don't know each other. So I've heard different stories from different people who are not communicating.
So, right, there's no way they can get their stories together. Right.
And they've been very disappointed because this big health system they work for was not prepared, doesn't have enough, again, personal protective equipment, masks, like the scrubs, the stuff they get clean with, all that.
The gloves.
They didn't have gloves. They didn't have enough. And a lot of these people have had to get it on their own. And this organization, which is a very big organization, multi-million-dollar organization, has told them that if they speak to people about this, they're going to lose their jobs.
I've actually heard that several places, not just here.
You've heard it as well?
Yeah, not just here, but all over the U.S., basically.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it from 4 people who directly work there.
Yeah, I don't know if we're talking about the same place, by the way, but I've heard it from people.
Well, you've said you've heard it from other places. I mean, I think that this is something that's happening not only in.
It's
I mean,
nationwide.
obviously,
it's nationwide.
I'm talking about South Florida because these people obviously work in the South Florida region. I could imagine that this is happening probably countrywide, but what really is upsetting is that these people are forbidden to talk about this. And
why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because I think it's
because they don't want the organization to look bad,
right?
Because
but on the one hand, but here's the okay, fine on the face of it, fair enough. But my thing is, okay, these organizations were not prepared, quote unquote, right? I don't think it's out of the realm of understanding as humans to say, I get that they weren't prepared because nobody was anticipating something of this level. So I mean, is it right? Is it wrong? That's one thing. But it caught them off guard. It caught them off guard. It is what it is. And so, to say like, listen, they were caught unawares or off guard and we've had to make do. I don't necessarily think that there's anything negative, because todo lo que tú me dijera, bueno, es que this organization had like dozens of masks, and you know what, they threw them all the way, because they said fuck this. You know what I mean? Like that's not negative. I mean, that's negative.
I don't see it that way. Because I think that if you are a huge organization like this organization is in an area that is populated by millions of people, and you're a multi-million or billion-dollar organization, you need to be prepped for these things. Because this whole thing of a pandemic, nobody knew that the coronavirus was going to hit the United States in February, March of 2020. But anybody that you listen to that knows about these pandemics and knows about these things knew that it was just a matter of time. And pandemics have happened in the last 10 to 15 years several times in the United States, from the bird flu to the H1N1, so on and so forth. Maybe not to this magnitude, but they have happened. So this is something that is a reality. And for these organizations to be as badly equipped, and we're not talking about a mom and pop independent hospital, we're talking about a major chain of hospitals that, you could even say monopolizes an entire region that, again, is a multi-million-dollar organization. I mean, I think it's kind of crappy, not only that they were not prepared to this extent, but now their employees, have to go out and have to purchase this stuff on their own.
No. First, they have to find it. They have to find it because it's not easily available to begin with.
And then they're not allowed to complain about it. I mean, or you're risking your job. I mean, that's like if right now, we are, God forbid, invaded. The United States is invaded, and the army or the military goes to fight, an invasion of whomever, and they don't have enough weapons. Oh, well, we didn't know an invasion was coming. Well, you're the fucking military. Like, you need to be prepared for this type of stuff.
That is a fair assessment. That's fair.
I mean, clearly nobody can get an entire scope, but this whole thing with masks and gloves not having, this has been going on for it's not like, the coronavirus has been going on for months now, and they ran out of gloves and masks. Right. It's like they didn't have enough to begin with. Begin with.
It started bad and it got worse.
Right. And as I was telling you the other day, New York, which is in the epicenter of this, I was shocked to find out that New York City, one of the biggest cities in the world, with 10 million people, has only 20,000 hospital beds. Like, what? Like,
Yep. That's crazy, right? Because it's something that you don't even think about. You just genuinely do not think about, okay, well, how many hospital beds in relation to the city? You just always kind of assume there will be enough.
But you know what I think about? I think about a city as congested as New York. Let's not even talk about the coronavirus. Just a regular bout of flu.
Right.
Well, let's say that the flu swept through Manhattan. We're not talking about a flu that's dropping people dead, but just a regular old flu.
Right.
They have 20,000 hospital beds. It's like, what do you mean that New York City has 20,000 hospital beds?
With
like
millions of people they have.
Yeah, so whatever.
Well, it's funny
mean,
you say that because one time I went to the ER when I was in New York, and they literally had all of the rooms, and I was in Queens. It wasn't even in like the city. All the rooms were filled. All the ER places were filled. They literally just had people like on stretchers, sitting out in the middle of like the ER. So I would imagine it's similar to that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember when my grandmother? I think I spoke about it here.
This was recent.
My grandmother was in the hospital in November.
Yeah,
and she was in the hospital for like 2 weeks, and everything was a problem from when she was admitted. We took her to the emergency room. Obviously, she was admitted. It took forever for her to get a room. When she got a room, it was like the smallest room. The nurses, not that they took bad care of her, but everything was a problem because they were really understaffed. Because at that time, and again, this isn't one of the biggest hospitals in town.
And this was back in November, before any. This was regular run of the mill. Yeah.
All the nurses told us that they were 40% over capacity, and it's because they were dealing with the flu, with the regular flu that I remember. And again, I think I talked about it back then here in the podcast, that they had people, which I had never seen that, in the emergency room lobby on IVs. And I'm like, pero que esto? This looked like something out of like
one of those war movies.
Yeah, and I'm like, and this was, the regular good old flu, whatever.
We long for the flu at this point. We long for those days.
The important thing is, we hope everybody's staying safe. Respect the whole social distancing thing.
Yeah.
The Governor DeSantis, finally, and don't make me get into that because our whole point of the podcast is to keep it lively and running and moving. Finally decided to lock up the entire state. But
starting today, right?
Tonight at midnight. Yesterday midnight, since it's Friday.
Yeah, it's always weird when you talk about midnight because midnight is technically the next day, but it's like you're still up. It's like, it always confuses me.
So let's keep it lively. Okay.
Like Blake.
So I just found out of something that blew my mind. Like, it blew my mind. Maybe you knew about this. Maybe listeners, maybe you guys knew about this.
Our listeners are smart.
I didn't know about this, and I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable person. Did you know that when you look at a standard map, like let's say a Rand McNally map, right?
Okay.
That not all countries are to the same scale?
So, like on map 1, China might be a certain size, and on map 2, it might be a little bigger or a little smaller.
So generally,
compared to the
maps of the Western Hemisphere, and maps of the Western Hemisphere. So, in Canada, the Americas, the Pacific Asian countries are much smaller than they actually are. So, for example, Indonesia looks a lot smaller on a standard map than it actually is.
And let me guess, you found this out from CBS Sunday Morning.
Actually, no, I didn't. Wendover Productions. No, mijito. CBS Sunday Morning is on hiatus. They're like getting old stories.
But
I'm putting them all together.
Listen, Jane Pauley can totally host it from her living room.
No, because actually they're running out of new stories. I think last week was their last show with new stories. But anyway, that blew my mind. And for example,
how did you find this out? Like,
Wendover Productions on YouTube, and then I started looking it up online, and I read a bunch of stuff on it. So Wendover Productions is this YouTube channel that has to do a lot with geography and topography.
Interesting.
It's all like mini documentary. So hello, they have my number.
They also have your undivided attention these past couple days.
Yes, and it blew my mind. Like I was like, what? And like for example, the Korean Peninsula is much bigger than what in a standard map it looks like. I think Iceland is smaller than what it looks like in most maps.
Mhm.
The for example, the British Isles are like the size of the entire east coast of the U.S., but on the map they look smaller.
So wait, why are we all over the place with maps? Like, is this like a metric system thing? Like,
No, they said that the true size is what's called the pear-shaped map, which when you see the map cut up into like what looks like pears. Do you know what I'm talking about?
not even a little bit.
Like semicircles, kind of, sort of.
Oh yes, okay.
That is a more true representation of the actual sizes of countries.
Oh.
But yeah, this blew my mind. It like I was like, wait, what? So everything I've learned, everything I've seen,
It's all been a lie.
wrong?
It's all of it. All of it's been a lie. Mentiras puras todas.
So I was like, maybe things are not as close or far as they seem.
Life is all about perception.
Although when I went to Australia, I was on an airplane for about a month, it seems.
And yet, it was probably still less than we're going to be in quarantine.
Probably less, yeah. Probably less. So yeah. That is the learn part of the
Is the
listen,
learn
laugh,
part
and
of the
learn.
listen, laugh, and learn.
So we cannot have an episode this week.
So before we get into this, though, let's take before we go any further, let's take a quick pause for our sponsor, and then we'll take it right back up. Hey there, mi gente. Ish here. Do you have a ton of pics you love on your phone, but no idea how to display them in real life? Bueno, we've got the solution. CanvasPeople.com. We'll have our favorite photo just sitting in our phone, but now thanks to CanvasPeople.com, you've got the perfect way to show them off. Simply visit their site, upload your fave pic, the one from Abuelo's 90th birthday, or the one with all your primos at your niece's quinces. Then with just a few clicks, you'll have a beautiful canvas print perfect for display. And if you visit canvaspeople.com now and use promo code PERO, you'll get an 11 by 14 canvas free of charge. That's right, a canvas valued at $76.99 for just the price of shipping and handling if you use promo code PERO. Así que visit canvaspeople.com today and turn your photos into a canvas printed work of art.
And we're back.
All right, so sorry. So what I hope you're going to talk about what I think you're going to talk about, because last week we kind of talked about it, but we couldn't talk about it.
We can't talk this week without talking what everybody's talking about. Stephanie from Mamas and Merlot, cue her in.
I mean,
So we're going to talk about Tiger King. So what's so funny was that Stephanie from Mamas and Merlot had been texting me. She's like, have you seen it? Have you seen it? I'm like, no, I haven't gotten around to watching it. And then like one day, like I started watching it, and like 10 minutes in, I fell asleep. So whatever. So last, I believe, Friday, I said, okay, today I'm going to start watching it.
You did, because I followed along on your Instagram story.
And I started watching it at like 11, and I said, okay, let me watch the first episode, right? So, I'll get the introduction to it, and then tomorrow, Saturday, I'm going to be home all day. I'm going to watch the rest of it. No, mijito. 5 episodes later, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, shit.
Happened to us.
I'm like, shit, the sun is going to crack soon. I need to go to bed. So, okay.
Where do we even start?
This doesn't happen to me a lot. I am short on words. Actually, today when I was at my parents' house, my dad was like, doing our social distancing. Right. My dad's like, oye, ¿qué es lo que yo sigo viendo? Hablando de un hombre que es el rey de los tigres. ¿De qué es ese documental?
Oh, they didn't cover this in Spain?
I don't know where he got it from.
In his,
but I'm like, how do I even start to explain this to my father in Spanish?
It's a toughie.
I'm like, what? Bueno, papá, es que él tenía unos tigres, pero había una Carole que era una bruja.
Que mató a su esposo.
Okay, so without getting what it's into, because I don't even know how to explain it.
Can I take a stab at it?
Aside from the fact, I mean, look, at this point in time, a lot of people have seen it,
exactly.
And people that are listeners who've seen it are obviously going to know what we're talking about.
And again, it's a story that it's not like it just happened. Like it's a documentary about something that happened like about a year ago. So, I mean, it's
and people who haven't seen it, a year ago, no, because he was sentenced at the end of 2019.
Oh, okay. No, it's because I listened to this podcast, Last Podcast on the Left, and they do like their mini episodes once a week, and they've been talking about him since he ran for governor.
Oh, right.
So like I've been hearing about
ran for governor a while ago.
Yeah, so I've been hearing about Joe Exotic forever. It seems.
Okay, so what do you think? Aside from obviously people are stuck at home, what do you think has been the appealing thing about this? Because everybody on that documentary is trash. It is like the worst of the worst of the worst.
There's maybe one or two sympathetic people in
I think the only redeeming character is the guy who was like the young guy who was like the campaign manager.
Oh, the libertarian who used to work at Walmart?
Yeah, I think he's like the only like kind of quasi normal person.
No, and then the one-armed guy.
No.
Listen, in the grand scheme of that cast of characters,
no, she's as crazy as all of them. So what do you think?
It's a he. She actually is transgender, but she's misgendered throughout the whole thing.
So it's a trans man.
It's a trans one-armed man.
Okay, well, no, because not only in the show did they refer to.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They referred to in female.
That's what I'm saying. But they did it in the show. He was incorrectly referred to because the producers came out afterwards, and a lot of interviews have come out, obviously, and they'll ask questions about like what's the thing you would like people to know, and da 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 da. And one of the things that they said was like I forget. I think Saf is his name. Saf actually uses he him pronouns, and even Joe calls him her. So.
Oh, the reason I said it because I saw an interview with, I guess, him with David Spade, and he didn't say anything about that. But anyway, okay.
It even has that.
What do you think has been the appeal of this?
I think it's that. It's okay. So like you said, aside from the fact that everybody's stuck at home, right? So it's kind of like, well, this just premiered. Let's watch it. It's literally the type of thing where you can't make that shit up, right? Like it's the epitome of the okay, no, this just got crazy. It can't get any crazier. Oh, okay, it just got crazier. Okay, no, but it can't get any crazier than it just got. Whoa, okay, no, it's a little crazier now.
It's like a roller coaster.
Oh wait, huh? Like just when you think it's done, it's like, no, bitch, we've got a higher roller coaster ride for you. Like it just keeps going and going and going and going. And I think that's what it is. And it's also, to your point, there's no clear hero, so it's one of those things where you can watch it and everybody can come away with like, there's no, well, so and so was right and so was wrong. You know what I mean? No clear cut. It's very much like, well, I side with this one because of esto, y esto por esto, y esto por el otro, and it's just like it's like a choose your own adventure.
Let me tell you this though. Joe Exotic is fucking nuts. He does illegal shit, and I think he's gross, and I think he's weird. But you know what? I was on Team Joe over Team Carole.
God, yes.
Carole Baskin from the moment. Actually, it's so funny because if you look at my IG stories when I was watching this, when Carole first comes out, I put "Que mal me cae la Carole."
She does.
Not knowing
Lo que te esperaba.
What was coming. She just rubbed me the wrong. Because you know the thing about it is that I think I've said this on the podcast before. The people that in this world terrify me the most are self-righteous people.
Oh yeah.
I am afraid of self-righteous people. When people start saying that they're holier than thou, and that, whether it's because they're overly religious or because they want to,
They
save
think that
this
they
or
think
save that.
their morals are above someone else's.
Exactly.
However they magnify that.
Exactly. Very well said. That their morals are above everybody else's. Self-righteous people are the people that terrify me the most in this world. And the moment that I saw her, I'm like, oh my God, this is some self-righteous, white woman from Tampa,
Listen.
who thinks her shit don't stink. And she happens to have, she calls it a sanctuary, but she happens to have a zoo.
It's worse than Joe's. It's worse than Joe's. The cages are smaller. Also,
her whole thing.
I don't trust any white woman wearing a crown of flowers outside of Coachella.
Her thing is that she says that she doesn't let people pet the tigers when they're cubs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you know what? I would think, because I read upon her, and from what I know, tigers are an endangered species.
Absolutely.
And a lot of zoos, say what you will about zoos, but a lot of zoos are working on conservation.
That's why
species.
That's why we still have some of these species.
Right, and a lot of zoos are doing some pretty good work.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not defending zoos because there's certainly a lot of business practices that zoos have that I'm against.
Fair enough, but you can point to the one we have down here, the Miami Metro Zoo, which builds like these big habitats for them. It's not a cage. I mean, so
she's against she's against zoos and the conservation efforts of zoos. And I'm like thinking, like, okay,
so what does she want?
You
what does she want?
You love this species so much, but you are okay with it going extinct.
No, she's not. She's okay with her being the only one standing. That's what it comes down to, because she charges. They don't pet them, but people still have to pay to go to her sanctuary.
Right. So I think it's so funny that she's supposed to be the hero in all this, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think she's probably the most disliked character of the documentary.
I will tell you this: if you talk to the average Latino, ella cae mal.
No, but I think overall, because I mean, have you seen all the memes of her on social media?
She's like a hyper-environmental version of Mrs. Allen from Que Pasa USA.
I mean, it's just, I don't even know where to begin. Like, for God's sake, they were using expired Walmart meat to put on their pizzas.
Oh, I know. Ooh. I mean, like, one day is okay, but, that was like a week.
And then now we find out that his voice was
not him.
But why are we disappointed or surprised even?
I'm a little sad. Because in some weird way, in the back of my mind, I was like, I'd like to think that at the very least he had a nice singing voice. And like, had he pursued that career, this all could have been avoided.
Some type of redeeming quality.
Right. Like this could all have been avoided,
So today when I was telling my dad about the documentary,
how did you explain it in Spanish?
I told him, mira, when the Cuban marimbero, who allegedly they based Scarface on, Tony Montana,
like all marimberos think was based on that.
When he comes out appearing as the most sane and likable character in this whole documentary, the bar has been set.
Yeah, estamos mal. Although he had the cutest little capuchin monkeys.
And Nemo, Doc Antle, because Doc Antle, the other guy who does the whole thing with the tigers,
the one whose tigers were in the Britney "Slave for You" MTV performance.
Yes, he's a little bit better put together. Like,
but he's trash.
No. But and the way that he speaks, and like
he's better presented.
And like when in the interview, he had like a shirt with the logo of his zoo. He seems a little bit more presentable. But yeah, he's in a polygamous sex cult. Like, Of course. Why wouldn't he be? That's why it's like, you know what? There's white trash, and then there's like this is like 10 levels. This is like 10 levels under white trash. Like, I think this makes white trash look good. I mean, I think this makes people that come out in like cops, nobility.
Wow, those are some strong words there, my friend.
Right, but did I say something that wasn't true?
Not even a little bit. No.
Porque como yo te dije, the guy who's his husband.
Which one?
The one with no teeth.
Oh.
It's like, couldn't you put on a shirt for the damn documentary? Like.
Even I would put on a shirt for a documentary.
I mean, this is a Netflix documentary. Couldn't you put on a freaking shirt?
Although on the
like,
plus side, he now has teeth, so at least
yes, I did see the follow up. I mean, for those of you who haven't watched it, please watch it because there's nothing. I feel that this is one of those things. You know how sometimes when things become popular and they're overhyped, and then you watch it and you're like, whatever. This is so crazy. This is just so crazy that it can be overhyped.
I also think that there's something to be said because we're all stuck at home. More and more, as many people as have already seen it, I think that more people will still see it because, again, before it would be like, oh, yeah, I'll get to it. But then you kind of get busy. But now that you're home, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. You get to it a lot sooner. So I think it's not going to go away as quick as things in the past.
It's still the number one documentary on Netflix.
Of course, it should be.
I don't even. And then, oye, ¿a dónde tú me dejas a mí? The overweight little Dutch boy.
The overweight little Dutch boy. Which one?
The one who became an FBI informant, and he has a bomb.
Oh, yes, the one that was on the jet ski.
Yes, doesn't he look like Barbecue Becky? You remember who Barbecue Becky was?
Yes.
Barbecue Becky, for our listeners who don't remember, there was a video of this woman. I don't even know her name was Becky, but it was this white woman.
It is now.
Who like 2 years ago, it was like 2 years ago, a video went viral because there was this family who was black who was having a barbecue
at a park.
In a park,
yeah, like everybody has,
minding their own business. They were just there having a good time, grilling. Again, minding their own business, but Becky had a problem with it. And Becky went up to them and was like, "You can't grill here." And she called the police. And then it was great because one of the people it wasn't even one of the people from the family. This other woman walking by saw what was going on. Se metió. She was kind of nosy. Se metió. Right. And she started filming Becky. And it became a thing, and she called the cops. And then the cops said that, the black people were, like, harassing her and, making her feel uncomfortable. They're like, what are you talking about? We were having a barbecue.
She came over here.
One of them even invited them to be like, hey, do you want some barbecue? But she did her own like I'm the white victim, song and dance, but without failing to realize that they were actually recording her, and there was like a recording of this whole trajectory, and she was the one harassing them.
It's so horrible how white people have been victimized throughout history. The pobre.
No, but what I love is that Barbecue Becky never thought she was going to become the meme that she did.
There will be people using that meme after she's long dead who won't even know what she is.
So when this guy in the documentary comes in the jet ski, I'm like, is that Barbecue Becky?
That scene was fantastic because there was no reason for him to be on a jet ski at all.
You know what's funny? You could tell that the creators or the producer director of the documentary was like, I'm going to get these motherfuckers to do whatever the hell I want. So you know what? You're getting on a jet ski.
Do you think, and you bring up a good point, because this weekend, Carole, now that there's time to look for her husband, actually came out and said that, she felt misled, that they told her it was going to be this other type of documentary and blah, 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 blah. Do you think that was the case? I mean, because from where I stand, I don't think so. Because let me tell you something. If they come up to me now and tell me, oh, I'm going to do a documentary about, environmentalism, why would I start talking about my husband and his disappearance and, all these other things? And I know that they followed them for like 4 years. But
this took place during 4 to 5 years.
Right.
I think that probably because, look, if you come to think about it, what the documentary turned into
was by accident.
I mean, that was by accident. Yeah. So that couldn't be planned. So I think that probably they started off doing a documentary about Joe Exotic, the character that he was. Right. So they were probably going to have an angle about her.
Trying to do the right thing or whatever.
Trying to do the right thing. And that was this nemesis. But then it turned into something else. Right. But you know what? To go with what you said, you can't say that you were misled, because if you are told that the documentary is going to be about this, but then you sit down for interviews throughout many years,
right? Because it wasn't one day.
Start talking about something else. Well, you're the one who provided them that content.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because my answer would have been like, wait, hold on. We're doing a documentary here about big cats.
Why are you asking me about my
you
husband?
Why are we talking at length about my husband's case? Like,
Right. It's like those reality show people who are, it's like, no, because I was edited to look that way. It's like, listen, that may be so. They may have edited the content, but you gave them the content that they're editing.
Exactly. I know that. Yes, I know that a lot of times these things are edited, but you know what? They're not going to make exactly. When you have the content, they can't make a villain into a hero or vice versa. And she's not likable because she's not likable.
She's not. Because when they first introduced her, again, she looked like she was going to Coachella. I was like, oh, this woman I was thinking she probably runs a nonprofit. And she probably works with people to introduce these animals back into the wild. Nope.
Right? Because that's what usually people that work in saving a species and in conservation try to do. They try to eventually, look at here, when they save a whale or a tortoise or a dolphin, and they're at the facility for months until they're healed, they put them back in the wild, in the sea. Right. So that's what I thought that she was doing. But then when I learned, I was like, no, espérate. You have a part too? I'm like, please. Carole, please.
Yeah, cool cats and kittens. She also has a park.
Yeah. So listeners, you have time. Go watch Tiger King. You won't regret it. This is going to be this generation's Live Aid.
Wow. That just made me so depressed.
Everybody saw Live Aid. Whether you were a kid, 5 years old, 30 years old, or 90 years old. Everybody sat down to watch Live Aid. This is this generation's Live Aid.
Wow.
I think we've had a bit of a downgrade.
A little bit. Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, no, it's crazy you say that because like a lot of these productions have halted. Like for instance, Empire still hadn't finished filming its final episode. So now they're like, well, we're going to take some of the footage we had and...
Empire was still filming?
Empire had like 1 or 2 episodes left to finish the season.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were done.
No. Yes, this is the last season, but it's like, but little things like that where it's just like, okay, well, we were going to film, episode 7 and 8, and it's like, no, you're not. I don't understand movies getting pushed back though, because just release it on demand. A lot of things have been doing it.
No, that could be some movies, but you think like a movie like James Bond is going to be released on demand?
It's circumstantial. No. You know what I mean? It's not because it's a bad movie.
No, that all those big budget movies. You think that if any like Marvel or DC,
Wonder Woman got pushed back.
Of course, these are quadrillion movies. These movies cost to make the size of a GDP of a small country. You think they're going to be like? They're like, oh, we're going to release it on Netflix on so-and-so day.
No, but not on Netflix. But like they can, release it for direct rental on your TV.
So, okay. So I have to tell you, let's move gears here.
Moving from Joe Exotic.
Yes. So this might come to a shock to you.
Oh God.
Well, no, not so much to our listeners because they wouldn't know this, but. Do you know that I have never seen Pinocchio from start to finish?
The Disney movie?
Yeah. What other Pinocchio?
Yeah, that's true. Never mind.
Okay. I have never really seen Pinocchio, which is very strange because I'm a Disney person. I actually own Pinocchio in VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And mind you, I had never seen.
Yeah, but you like Disney overall, so you're into Disney things, but you have certain favorites within the Disney.
Right. Like, for God's sake, I've seen Fun and Fancy Free 20 times. Right. But not Pinocchio. For some reason, Pinocchio never, whatever.
No te llamó la atención.
But the other day, I actually saw it with, obviously with Tristan, because I'm really trying for him to get into like movies, into like especially the classics.
Right.
And I did not know that whole part where they were stealing the children and turning them into donkeys.
Well, yeah, that's how he eventually winds up in the belly of the whale.
Yeah. And that whole scene where one of the kids was like pleading, "I want a mom! I want my mom! I want my mom!"
And he turns into the donkey.
Huh?
And then he's like crying as he turns into the donkey.
But he was like very troubled, that little boy, because he was screaming, "I want my mom! I want my mom!"
Shit, turn me into a donkey. I'd scream for my mother right now.
And he was screaming and crying, and I'm like, oh my God, that never got resolved. Like, the movie ended, and I'm like, the little kid, like, he never went back to his mom. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with this movie?
No, that's why. That is a moral, guys. If you act like a jackass, you will be thought of as a jackass.
Well, I don't think that's what that was going on there.
Well, that's the moral.
Because, I mean, they were just kidnapping little kids left and right, that stupid fox.
Right, but they were kidnapping them because they went to Pleasure Island because they were not being good little boys. They weren't going to school.
Which by the way, I'm like, oh, that's what Pleasure Island in Disney got its name from.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, like, I have like 2 pictures with that stupid fox.
He was always he's always in the park, always.
He's that part is like him. He's always in the park. It's like really, like this is the background character that you have. I mean, if you want to have good background characters, have Griselda and Anastasia, or whatever her name is,
and Lady Tremaine.
And Lady Tremaine, which I've only seen them like a couple of times. I mean, those are really good background characters.
Yeah, they really are.
So with that said,
what did Tristan think of the whole movie?
Tristan was like whatever about it. He was, of course, like any kid his age. Mm-hmm. He was a little bit taken aback by like when his nose started to grow.
Oh, okay.
He was like, it's turning into a treat, but I have high hopes for the boy.
Okay.
Do you know what movie he loves?
Okay.
Not only does he love Sleeping Beauty, he doesn't care about Aurora. He cares about Maleficent, and I'm like, that's my boy.
I love him so much more now.
He the other day, he was like, put again when she gets mad. And you know what I mean by mad.
The part where she starts laughing and then she sends everybody to hell?
The powers of hell.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Because the first time that he saw the part where Philip throws the sword at her and kills her, he was like, he closed his eyes. He was like, oh. But he freaking loves Maleficent, and I'm like, great. I'm like, if your favorite villain was Gaston, we would have problems.
Oh, Gaston's not a villain. He's barely an annoyance.
He hates Beauty and the Beast, though.
Why?
Because I'm constantly telling him, Marie, hurry up.
All right, siempre lo está jodiendo, that's why.
And he's like, stop it! But yeah, he loves the Maleficent scene, so I'm like, oh,
Okay.
The conversation in this episode is as solid as people's conversations at home in the quarantine.
Exactly. Well, that's what it's all about, guys. Remember, we are not immune to, any of this. We are stuck at home as well, as evidenced by the fact that we are doing this via phone.
Do you know what I was talking to my dad today about? So we were talking on how, like, probably so many graduations are going to be canceled. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, if my law school graduation would have been canceled, I would have gone ape shit. I was like, you mean to tell me that I put myself in 3 years of hell, and now I'm not even going to get a graduation?
You would have shown up for the fall graduation.
Oh, you better believe it. I'll be like, no, I'll graduate 1 semester later. It won't matter.
You can send me the diploma if you want, but I will be here. I will be here at a graduation. Mark my words.
No, but really, think about it. Especially, I mean, any graduation, whether it's high school or college or, grad school of some sort, that you work so hard for that graduation. And, there's something to be said about, I've never understood people that don't go to their graduation.
I don't get it either.
Because that's like work that you did. That was not given to you.
I mean, I guess the diploma is the reward, but you know what? But there's something to the ceremony of it all. The culmination, the symbolism. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Meanwhile,
I don't
you
know.
and I should totally go out and buy stock in like Zoom.
And Zoom. I keep thinking of that Aretha Franklin song.
Who's zooming who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So right before you called, I was taking a jog or a walk.
Mhm.
I don't jog, a power walk, if you will. And I realized that I was specifically listening to "Is It the Beat" by Selena.
Aw.
So I actually was listening to a few Selena songs because this week
Yes.
was 25 years that Selena passed away,
That's right. It was what, March 30th?
31st. And I remember that day I went to the fair.
Which we can't go to this year.
Yeah, that's what 25 years will do to you. 25 years ago, we had the fair. This year, not so much.
Not so much. Oh, poor Selena.
So,
At least she doesn't have
Yeah.
to go to the coronavirus.
man,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just with her, and we've talked about it before in
Yeah.
in the show. I don't know why, because I I liked Selena. I didn't own her music, but I obviously knew who she was because especially in the Hispanic market, she was everywhere. And I remember when they would put her MTVs on MTV Internacional. I remember when she would be on Sábado Gigante, and I remember when she was on that show that used to air on 51 Padrísimo. I remember all that, and I remember a lot of those performances. But I wouldn't consider myself a fan.
Right.
I mean, I knew Bidi Bidi Bam Bam, I knew La Flor, I knew all those
Handful
songs.
at most.
But yet her passing hurt so much, and and still 25 years later, like we still feel so terrible for her.
How old was she when she
She was
died?
23.
23. Yeah, she was a kid.
Yeah. Freaking fan club president.
You know what, Yolanda? I want to know what's in the box.
So
We're all stuck in quarantine. Just tell us what's in the box.
With this whole quarantine thing, one of the things that I just have enjoyed something about this, but one of the things that has been kind of cool to see is how like shows and celebrities have adapted to this. How like the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he's hosting it from the living room of his house.
Yeah. The View is like doing Zoom calls or whatever.
No, in The View, they're all compromised because Whoopi Goldberg, she had a really bad pneumonia last year.
Yeah.
And then, so they thought it was best for her not to come in. Meghan McCain is pregnant.
Yep.
So obviously she's quarantined.
Right.
And then Joy Behar is 77.
Yeah.
So she said on the air, she's like, today's my last day here because I'm 77. I look great, but I am 77. So she was at home. And then the last two standing were Sunny Hostin and Sarah Haynes. But Sunny, her mom lives with her.
Oh.
And then she was afraid of getting exposed, So now the whole show is on Zoom. Like all of them from their living rooms.
You know what? This week, Sunny said something. I'm not going to quote her exactly, but Sunny said something that other people have said that it's just like, ugh, you know what? And I've never liked Sunny to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Something about like, to the extent of like, oh, I hope when this is all over, obviously we're not shaking hands now. Ugh, I hope we don't ever shake hands again. Like, I hate, whatever. And I'm like, oh, yes, human contact, you fucking cyborg.
So my thing about Sunny Hostin, and
she's so
anybody
annoying.
who listens to us knows that I watch The View every day. Sunny Hostin seems like the type of person that in real life or like off of the show I would totally love and get along with. Like I would totally think she's awesome. On the show, she's un poquitico pesadita because she's like a goody two shoes, and like she's very much about the victim. It's always about me, like I'm upset, like it's personal. Everything is personal to her, everything, and she's very much like a martyr on the show. Now I understand that The View, like any show, like even you and I. It's real people and their real opinions, but everybody kind of has a role to play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to be a character to a degree.
And I understand that that's her role. She's like the lawyer, and she's like the smart one, and I get that. I get that. I'm totally for that. But sometimes she's a little too self-righteous. But with that
She looks
said,
like she would give Carole la razón.
but with that said, she looks like somebody who's like in real life, she's awesome. So that's why I like her, because she'd be fun to hang out with.
Ugh. She seems like an idiot. And I have an issue with like all these people now who are just like, oh yeah, maybe now we can, just not like, why do we ever shake hands? And it's just like, why don't you just go sit in your corner and never touch a human again? Por eso and I'm surprised her too, because you know what? Por eso que los americanos son tan frío.
Well, I mean, shaking hands is not the reason people get this. I mean, it's a reason to.
No, but she's saying because you transfer germs.
You do transfer germs, but I mean, it's been shown that it's usually like people that talk to you that the germs, like from their breath or their air, you pick it up.
We all need germs. We can't be bubble people.
We can't live germless.
No, that's how you like die.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of people, I feel that like with the coronavirus, this quarantine that we're through, it's kind of like when you're waiting for a hurricane. We've said that several times on the show. I
have never done so much groceries in my life. I think I've done groceries like 14 times in like 3 weeks.
Not only have I done groceries, but because I'm cooking every single day. I'm always washing dishes and pots.
Oh my god! Forget. You know how they're all like, wash your hands, wash your hands. I'm like, listen, I'm covered. I'm always washing pots.
So I think I've lost weight.
I don't think I have.
But I've actually been careful about what I've eaten.
I haven't.
I was like, I can't afford to gain weight. And I'm like, if I don't behave well, by the time this coronavirus is over, I'm going to look like fat bastard. And that's not going to be good. No. So I'm like, let me be on good behavior. And then that's why every day I go power walk and, do whatever to stay active.
Yeah. Look, there are moments.
I chopped down a tree the other day.
Like, all right, Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
There are days where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to have cookies today. Like, I'm just, because again, I can't do anything, right? I'm just like frustrated or whatever. But then I kind of, I'll go for a jog, or actually now because of Jose's job, they gave them sign-ins for this online workout service thing called Groker. I don't know how to pronounce it. So I've been doing exercises with that. I've downloaded a couple of just, like body resistance workouts. And so, I'm trying to mix it up. I've been dancing with Debbie Allen. And even like there's a local DJ down here, DJ Hot Pants, who actually you should tune in. It's actually really good. Every weekday in April, he's going to do a Divas happy hour. He started it yesterday. The first 3 ones from 5 to 6 are all Kylie Minogue.
Oh, awesome.
It was great. And so like I just have that in the background. I just start dancing. I mean, just keeping active, because you're right. It's very easy to just be like, you know what? I'm having cookies. And
let me ask you something. When you think of Kylie Minogue, do you still think of me?
Yes and no.
Because you should.
I should, but I don't think of you in the way that I think of you when I think of Robbie.
Well, the difference between Robbie and Kylie is that because Kylie eventually had a few hits here in the 2000s, whereas Robbie Williams didn't,
Right.
So,
but I also think that, but I also
because you know her because of me.
No, I know this, but I also think that like I've kind of like, whereas in the last couple of albums you've been kind of like whatever with her, I've kind of continued the fandom.
Right, because the whole reason why I liked her was because she did great pop music that nobody in the U.S. knew. So the moment that, I Can't Get You Out of My Head came out, and people jumped on the Kylie bandwagon,
right?
And, and then
yeah, but I'm not talking
her
about
other
that.
album came out, and all these people started wearing togas to her concert. And I'm like, yeah, you're wearing togas to her freaking concert, and I'm sure that you probably don't know any of her songs from the 90s.
Bueno, actually, during the DJ set today, he played Je ne sais pas pourquoi, and I was just like, yes. So I guess that's why I don't necessarily. I do think of you when I think of Kylie, but I've kind of also, I feel like I've come into my own level of fandom with her.
You turned it into yours, but that was
I turned it into love.
My turn off of her was not even her. Because I really like her. My turn off of her is that, you know me, I hate. It's in my DNA. Liking something that everybody else likes. The moment something goes mainstream, that's it. I'm done. Like,
no, it's true. It's why neither you or Madonna will have a Vegas residency.
But remember, like, you remember when I was into her in the 90s? I'd be like, oh my God,
listen,
she's so big in Europe.
Rhythm of Love,
so awesome.
The Rhythm of Love album, I have because of you.
Yeah. No, and like when Impossible Princess came out, and she kind of went indie, and even not even like I was Spinning Around came out in 2000.
I love that song.
That came out. That was the album before Can't Get You Out of My Head.
That's Light Years, yeah.
That song. Do you remember when I was into that song? That was like, oh my God, this song is so good.
Yep.
And then the following year, Can't Get You Out of My Head becomes a hit, and I'm like, really, people, really, like, really?
Well, that's because it was written by Kathy Dennis and Paul Abdul.
Yeah, but it's like really not that that's a bad song, but really this is the song.
Yeah, of all the songs.
Got Minogue back into the mainstream in the U.S. After the Locomotion in 1988. Really, it was this song, like, yeah. So,
yeah.
But what you and I have said about her, which is very true, and I think you one time summed it best. So, yes, audience, I know we're having a little bit of a Kylie Minogue talk, and if you don't know who Kylie Minogue is or you don't know her music,
well, then you will look it up. Then you will look it up, and you will be touched by the magic.
But Kylie Minogue, for all intents and purposes, for a very long time, was called the European Madonna, although she's Australian, because she was extremely, extremely popular in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s around the world, except in the US. She never, with the exception of a few songs, she never really broke the US.
Locomotion and I Should Be So Lucky were really her only...
I Should Be So Lucky, and then, that was in 88. Then it wasn't until 2001 that she had Can't Get You Out of My Head. And that album, some of those other singles were played here, but whatever. But in terms of her, what my favorite thing that you and I talked about some time ago with her videos, I don't think there is an artist that has a better evolution of videos than her. Because her videos started off so cheesy. Yes. Because like if you think about like Madonna's videos from like the early 80s,
right? I mean,
they're not cheesy.
For God's sake, one of her first videos was filmed in Venice. You know what I mean? Like,
like her first videos, they're very of the time, and you look at them,
but and production.
You look at it, and you're like, oh, this is very 1984. From what she was wearing to whatever. But they're not necessarily cheesy. But Kylie Minogue's videos have an endearing cheesiness to them. Like, they're endearing, and it's such an evolution. Like, from one album, it's like, okay, the second album, you could tell she had a little bit of a bigger budget. And then in her third album, when Rhythm of Love came out, now there's a bigger budget, and now she's older, so now she could turn up the sex appeal. It's like, the evolution of her videos is freaking awesome. It's like, I love watching it.
Oh, yeah, now that you say evolution, video evolutions, have you... On Facebook lately, they've been serving me these videos with Billboard where they do music video evolutions. Have you seen them?
I don't think so.
Okay, look them up. I'm sure they're on Billboard because if they're on their Facebook page, they've had a bunch of them. Like they did Mariah's video evolution. Well, they'll play like, maybe 5 seconds of each video from the first one up into the most recent, whatever that is. The two that stick out in my mind is the one of Cher because I'm like, okay, well, this is a long ride. This is going to be like settle in and get comfortable and watch it happen.
Years.
Right, watch it happen. But then they did one of Celine Dion. Celine Dion has videos for songs that I didn't even know existed. Her video evolution video was, I swear to God, it had like English, French, I was going to say European, in French, like it must have been like 55 videos. And I'm like,
no, you're right. I have her DVD when her Greatest Hits came out in 2000. Mm-hmm. I have a DVD of all her videos, and their videos on that DVD, I'm like, what song is this?
Do you have my Kylie DVD, by the way?
No, I gave it back to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because now I want to watch it.
But now everything is on YouTube, so.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about just sitting back and watching it without pre-rolls.
Actually, speaking of Celine Dion, she released some type of footage of some concert she had in Paris 25 years ago. And I was very proud of myself because I actually understood every single word she said in French.
Ooh la la.
But then again, it's French Canadian, which is easier to understand than real French.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it's yeah, it is, and like real French people laugh at their French.
Oh, they're like
because they have a different dialect.
They're like the Americans with the British.
Yeah, the example they give the most is with hot dog. I actually forget how you say hot dog in French, but it's not hot dog. But in Canada, French Canadians say hot dog.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they'll be like, "Oh my God, can you believe that they say hot dog? Like, what do you mean they say hot dog? That's not how you say it."
What do they say? Like like chien hot or whatever.
Like I forget how you say it in French, but yeah, it's they kind of laugh at their accent, but I understand French Canadian French much easier than French.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although it's like everybody else. When I've gone to France, it kicks in, and before I know it, I'm like talking, away in French to people, and I'm like,
conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know where this came out of. My 5 years of study of French is in the back of my mind.
You never lose it. That's the key.
Je ne sais pas pourquoi.
Je ne sais pas pourquoi. Oh, Kylie.
Juste alors, ce n'est pas la vérité. Oh là là.
Were you being the French chef from Little Mermaid?
No, then I would have been Le Poisson. You know what would have been really interesting with this podcast was, I don't know if you remember, when I was like really into my French studies, there was a moment that I was mixing all three languages together.
It was a beautiful thing.
That I'll be like, man, if I was still as fluent in French as I was at that time, like it would be really interesting at this point.
Well, it's always interesting at every point.
So, whatever. Anyway, well, I think that for our last soda, I think it's easy who we should give it to.
Okay. Well, I have one, but we'll see if it matches.
Well, I'm going to give my last soda to the first responders, to everybody on the front lines.
Okay. All right.
Because you and I are here.
We do match.
Recording this episode. And
they're
in the
risking
comfort
their lives.
of our homes, and these people are out there, and they're risking their lives. And yeah, as you said, and I mean everywhere, but especially like in New York, when they put those like grim things of like body bags after body bags coming out, it's like that takes a toll on you.
It's crazy that they're didn't they request like meat trucks, like refrigerated trucks to hold some of the bodies, and
they requested body bags from yeah. And then I heard today that they expect one of the new epicenters to be Detroit. And I'm like, oh my God, you know how much I love Detroit. I carry Detroit deep inside.
Why Detroit?
Because, why not? Because like these things like have moved, they don't know. They don't know.
Well, yes, first responders. And first responders, by the way, guys, we're giving them our last soda on this episode. But as Darian mentioned, we're going to keep featuring them, one a day for the foreseeable future. If you guys know of somebody who is, a first responder, whatever that means, send us their name, their picture, their IG handle so we can obviously tag them when we highlight them. And, tell us a little bit about them too. Are they a nurse? Are they a doctor? Are they a surgeon? Are they, are they the first person in their family to go to college? I don't know, just a little something, because I think a lot of times we do appreciate it, but we forget that they are still humans and people, and we definitely want to humanize them as well.
Yeah, no, and give them, these people, they're doing what they're doing. They're at work because, nurses have usually like a weird schedule to work 15, 16 hours, but 3 times a week. A lot of these nurses are working 15, 16 hours, like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So
one of Jose's nieces is actually a nursing student. and she's already like, getting the crash course of her life. So
No, imagínate. Talk about a training.
Yeah, on the job.
Yeah, so yeah, it's good that they get a little bit of recognition, just
Absolutely.
so they know that people really appreciate what they're doing. So guys, as we've said before, we're gonna keep producing episodes throughout this. It's a little bit weird for us because generally when Ish and I record, obviously we record in person. We work off of each other's dynamic.
Yes, I know.
We feed off
I
of
miss
it.
you. This is bizarre. This is bizarre because
I think that this is the longest you and I have been without seeing each other, absent our New York and Michigan years.
Right, but then it was okay because it's okay. We're not in the same city. What are we going to do? But now it's weird that you're there, I'm here, and yet we can't be together. I don't like it.
Right.
I don't like it.
I mean, imagine how I felt today when I was, 20 feet away from my grandmother. I'm like, Nima! And it's like, Dad! No. So, obviously it changes the dynamic a little bit, because not a lot of things are happening. Obviously the content is, it is what it is. But,
it's a little more anecdotal.
A lot of you have said time and time again that we make you laugh, that you look forward to our podcast. So we're going to try to do our little part to keep producing episodes, even if the majority is to talk about what's going on. But,
we all got to do our part.
It is what it is at this point. So we just hope that obviously this, we get out of this soon.
We will.
It doesn't look like that way, but,
I mean, soon is relative.
A month at minimum, at this point, a month at minimum is a month.
It could be a year.
Just think about that. We've been in this lockdown for less than 2 weeks. And right now, for sure, it's going to be at least another month.
Oh, definitely. At least until the end of April.
Yeah. So take that. So anyway, well, we hope everybody listened, laughed, and learned. And you definitely did learn about the maps.
Yes. I'm still kind of like, wait, what?
So listeners, when you go and tell your friends and family over Zoom and tell them, guess what I learned from Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes.
You give us credit.
We'll give you credit for your thing. You give us credit for ours, and everybody's happy.
That's why, we listen, laugh, and learn. So if you can find your pastelito, grab one. If you can find your croqueta, que rico una croqueta.
We just bought a couple.
Oh, I haven't had. Is Dos Croqueta open?
They are.
Until what time?
I don't know about today with this whole new curfew thing, but they are open and they're doing delivery and pickup.
Oh, I want a croqueta. And a guava thing. Wow, so we hope you have your pastelito, your croqueta, and your jupiña. And that was episode 104. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Cuídense, mi gente. Bye.
Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.